Good. All right, welcome to this session. We are looking at the 15 meta-connection tools for superior thinking. So we will be breaking those tools that you as an entrepreneur, you as a working professional, you can use them for better thinking. Let me tell you something. In the business setting, in the business world, there are some problems that if you see, if they occur, you can think right now and begin to suggest a solution. But there are some problems that you can never do that. If you do that, you always crash in business. Many professionals, many executives, and many entrepreneurs have taken immediate decisions on business complex problems that they should have used a tool to break down that problem so they can have the right data and information to finally make the decision. And many a times, people are quick to make prompt decisions on important issues without going through the process because they don't know the process to use. They don't know the tools to use. That's if we're looking at a survey and I'm asking you guys now, why have you never used any of this or used any long-term process? Not really long-term, like you spend a lot of time, but why have you not gone through a proper process of making decisions? One of the things you will say is you don't know how to do it, or to solve a problem, you don't know how to do it. You see, if you talk to my team, many a times there are sometimes they give me a chat, they give me a problem or they complain something to me. Sometimes I give the response instantly. Some will say I will think about it. One of the things I actually do in thinking about the problem is using some of the tools that I've been using that I know to now break down that problem and make a better decision and create a better solution. You see, that's why in business, not all problems. There are some problems that you can keep them going, maybe for a few days or a few weeks while you're looking for a better solution. Or there are some that you can just stop it. You can just stop the waste or the cost or whatever you're stopping from happening, and you create time to create the solution before you implement it, before the process can continue. And the world's greatest thinkers and problem solvers, entrepreneurs, decision makers, even government leaders rely on a set of these principles and frameworks and tools and shortcuts that we're telling you to cut through complexity, difficult decisions, and life-changing obstacles. I have taught many executives across Africa on how to use some of these problems, some of these tools to actually go through to solve business challenges. It is only in this session that many of you are going to have the privilege to learn all the 15 tools that I think that are important, which I have been using, which you can also use as far as solving business problems and career problems are concerned. But these tools, for you to become good at them, you must be practicing them. So I want to challenge you, when you pick some of them, look at some obstacles in your life, look at some problems in your life, even personal problems. Plus, you can use these tools in personal problems. You must not use them to solve only business complex problems or career problems or problems in the office and all of that. And meta-connection is thinking about our thinking. That's basically the meaning, where you're trying to think how you think, because these tools help you to think how you are thinking so you can create better solutions. And this ability of meta-connection is essential to critical thinking because of its role in evaluating the success of current approaches and the extent to which they can be improved. That is one thing I love about being able to understand all of these tools and adopting this particular way of thinking, because it can help you to understand how are we solving problems right now as a business, and how can we improve the current ways or approaches that we are solving problems. So it challenges you as far as that particular dimension is concerned. And sometimes if it's a problem that occurs more often, one of the tools that you can pick and you're using can help you to extend the way you understand that problem and create better solutions for that particular problem. Critical thinkers are willing to question the justifiability of their own ideas. Now, this is one thing that these tools will teach you. These tools will teach you how to question your own ideas. It will teach you how to question your own solutions to problems. There are times I have used one of these tools because maybe there's a complex business problem and I sit and I just think generally about the solution. And if I'm doubting the solution, I can pick one of these tools and I use the tool to justify my idea, to justify the solution that I've crafted in my mind. So this one of these tools, you can use them if you have created a solution for something of a problem and you are doubting, is it the right one or not? You can pick one of these tools. I will show you one of these processes or approaches and break down your own ideas, justify your own ideas to be double sure that you are actually implementing the right solution or the right idea. And it also helps to be brave enough to risk being wrong and wise enough to realize that much can be learned from errors and failed solutions. Definitely. Now, many of these tools can also teach you what you can learn from failed errors and solutions. There are many times that some people have gone back to use problem-solving tools from failed based on a situation where they failed. Like there are people that I have worked with them on the business idea validation process when they went to the market at first and they messed up. They launched a product and it did not sell. Now, when they come to me now, they're complaining, oh, we built this product, we invested money in marketing and all of that, but we are struggling to sell. Now, when they come back, we now use business idea validation to now start breaking down why they failed or what they didn't do right and all of that. And this is one thing also that these tools can help you to do. It can help you to learn from your errors. It can help you to learn from your failed solutions. And any businessman understands that failed projects, failed ideas, failed solutions and errors are full of a lot of data, which you should not waste. That's why you need to learn from them. Any error and failed solution you are not learning from is a total waste. It's double waste. You have already wasted resources by failing. Don't waste again the failure itself. So you need to learn from the failure so you can use it in your next project, in a similar task, or even a different task, or you can even use and teach your staff or colleagues or wherever you find yourself. But you can pick out the lessons from the errors and the failed solutions for better use tomorrow. Now, let us get deeply into all of these approaches to thinking and solving problems that you can use. The first one, which is very important, is called the circle of competence. Yes, this is a very important one. The circle of competence. Now, many people get to struggle in designing solutions to complex problems because they are thinking on their own. If you want to improve your odds of success in life and business, define the limit of your knowledge. Be clear about what you know and don't know, and work to expand that circle. This is one thing that great people do. Many great people expand their circle, not really because of what you can give them as money, but because of what you can give them as competence. I always say something funny. There are many wealthy guys that I have as my friends, not because they keep me close, not because I'm wealthy like them. No, they keep me because of competence. They keep me because of knowledge. That is why if you are somebody who study wealthy people very well, you will see that they have some of the smartest advisors around them. You see wealthy people that don't have PhDs and MBAs and all of that, but they listen to a lot of these guys who are educated and can dig deep into data, break it down, and have full understanding. So a circle of competence is an approach to solving complex problems, but it only works if you actually have the circle of competent people. It's not going to work if you have a circle that you cannot run to. You see? So that is where you see, there are some people that find it easy here because they now have like mentors. That way, there are some people that invest in mentors. Some people invest in coaches. Some people invest in being in a mastermind. Some people make sure that they just have friends that have good, are forward thinking or can bring value when they actually need the help. So if you have a mentor that you can run to, you want to take a decision and you're confused or you're having doubt, you can just share a quick message, a quick email, a quick call, and you guys break it down. You are using the circle of competence to solve a problem or to validate your idea or the solution you have designed. So for you, personally, I have not seen a successful businessman who does not have a circle of competence. In my experience of providing consulting, I have not seen. And sometimes some of them break it down into different areas. They have lawyers who are friends, accountants, bankers, business consultants, administrators. They try to just break it down and just have people in relevant fields that they can reach out to quickly and just ask a quick question in a particular sector. So what is the quality of your circle as far as competence is concerned? Can your circle help you to solve a complex career problem? Can your circle help you to solve a complex economy problem? Can your circle help you to solve a complex business problem as an entrepreneur? You need this approach. And that's why, of course, I always emphasize here, you know, for those who are married or dating and still to get married, especially if you're a visionary, it's very important to also, one of the qualities you're looking at is whoever you want to date or you want to marry should be somebody that can actually bring some competence. There are some people that are actually very intentional about who they want to date. I have some friends, one of my friends now, he's intentionally looking for somebody that he can date who read investment banking, right? He's intentionally looking for that. He's not looking whether you have a job or not, but did you read investment banking? We have knowledge around that area. He's looking for that. Not that he's maturated, no, but he's just very conscious about that. Some people want to get married to lawyers. Some want to get married to accountants. Some want to get married to what, depending on whatever vision that they are trying to build. You see? So it actually contributes a lot to how you approach and solve problems in life. Number two, the second approach that you can use to solve problem and experience superior thinking is your tendency to develop a preference for something merely due to being familiar with it. The more you see or hear something, the more you like it. It is also called the principle of familiarity. Be mindful of how you spend your attention. Now, this principle is simple. If you notice that, let me give an example. What can I say? Let's say that you want to grow into something, into a field. Let's say you want to understand how blockchain technology works. For example, you want to understand how blockchain technology works, but you cannot read it overnight and know. Or maybe sometimes the few times you have tried to read, you find it difficult to understand. Now, according to the principle of familiarity, what I can recommend for you is you can look for videos, audios, and try to play and listen to them. The more you listen to them consistently, sometimes you may feel that you're not understanding, but your mind is capturing it. The more you are used to that information, the more your mind is hearing those keywords in that sector, the more you are being exposed to that data. because your mind may need time, maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, even months to be acquainted with that particular thematic or situation. You see, or sometimes it could be a problem, like many times I've used this, where there's a problem, I write it on my notebook and I keep it on my desk where I'm working. Every day I'm looking at that problem. Every day my mind is seeing it. As my eyes are seeing it, sometimes like you are jogging, you are walking, or you're in the shower, boom, the solution just comes out from nowhere. This is the principle of May exposure effect. You get the concept? So if it's something that is troubling you, you don't want to put yourself under pressure, or maybe you have tried to be under pressure and you cannot get the response, what you do is you can make sure that you can put that problem where you are seeing it consistently, or you can look for data. You can look for audio books, podcasts, videos, or even some books that you can read about that problem more often. The more you expose yourself to that data or to that information or to other experts talking about similar problems, in less than no time, you can get the response. You can get the solution to that particular problem. Sometimes it's a client challenge that I'm trying to solve as a consultant. Sometimes I get to listen to other YouTube videos of other consultants. The more I listen to how they solve similar challenges, or I listen to something similar, the more my mind is exposed to think in diverse ways. And the more I become familiar with the problem, the more I become familiar with the challenge, that is how I'm putting my mind to work to look for the solution. And in less than no time, sometimes just few hours, few weeks, few days, I get the solution to that particular problem. You get a point. That's why sometimes there are many business people saying, I will think about it. They keep pondering upon it. They keep reading more data around it, more knowledge around it. And the more they do it, the more they expose the mind towards it, which now enables them to easily create the solution. So if you have a challenge, a business challenge, sometimes all you need to do is to put to use the principle of familiarity, or the mere exposure effect tool. Is going to help you a lot to do that. Number three is called the thought experiment. The thought experiment. All practical knowledge arises from thought. Yes, all practical knowledge arises from thought. So there are structural, conscious, logical, objective deductions we do in our heads to test our ideas, concepts, clarify our thinking. So these are people that have very sharp brains, or people that have developed their minds in a way that you can run things in your mind from different angles. You look at things from different angles, structurally, consciousness-wise, logically, objective-wise, and all of that. You begin to run all the ideas in your mind and concepts in your mind and clarify your thinking. Then you come out with the solution. But this particular tool or this particular approach gets to work when you are somebody you have built your mind to be good in thinking. Number two, you have a lot of data about that particular problem in your head. Somebody who forgets things a lot, or somebody who cannot keep certain things in their mind, they find it difficult to practice thought experiments. But people who are good with numbers are very good with thought experiments. People like accountants, mathematicians, software engineers, they are very good with thought experiments. There's a problem, they quickly run all of those things in their mind. It could be a structural way of running it, consciousness, logical. They look at the objectives, what they're trying to achieve. They look at where you're going to. They look at the knowledge you have about it. Quickly, in just less than a few minutes, they can be able to start writing down something that actually makes sense. Thought experiment can also be good for those who are experienced in a field. There are many business problems that You can give me, I don't need to go read a book or do the second exposure effect where I need to be following some. No, because the knowledge is in my head. All I need to do is run it here and there, look at the ideas and the concepts, verify my thinking, and then I start talking to you. And this thought experiment works very well for those during interviews, especially when you are being interviewed on radio, on podcasts, on TV as a thought leader in a particular sector. You will need to be good at thought experiments, because you cannot be on TV and the interview asking you questions and an expert and you're looking at your notebook. You see, it's not going to prove that you're a thought leader in that particular sector. And this is where gathering a lot of knowledge in your field and in your industry will contribute to your ability to practice the thought experiment approach. And that's why it's important that you should learn to do the hard work. We spoke about this in one session. Try reduce the way you use calculators on basic mathematical issues or calculation. They ask you 1,000 plus 1,350. What is it? You want to use a calculator? No, you need to train your mind to do that. Sometimes train your mind to just write an article of 300 words of anything without looking at anything from anywhere. I used to do that a lot. I just get a blank paper, I get a pen, and I just think of any topic in my field. I start writing anything about that topic, and it must be 300 words. It builds your mind a lot, and it can enable you to use thought experiment in solving complex problems. Let me tell you, this is the foundation of great people. One of the reasons that many people have produced incredible results in their professionals and businesses is because they have better minds than an average person. It is because they are very good at solving problems, very good at creating businesses from difficult problems and making them go viral, very good at looking at things of different dimensions, and they create something you're like, wow, what was this person thinking of? What was this person thinking of? Okay, so the tool of thought experiment is very, very important. Number 4 is called the Occam's razor. The simplest solution is always the best. Explain things with the fewest moving parts. Focus on clarity. If you have 2 equally likely solutions to a problem, choose the simplest. Yes. Now, this is a very, very important tool. Now, one thing about knowing these different ways of solving problems is because, you can always look at a problem from different angles. Sometimes there are some problems that you need to think outside the box. Some you need to think inside the box. Some you need to think around the box. So you hardly miss things anyhow. You understand? So there are many people that when they want to solve a problem, they find it difficult to solve because they are trying to solve the problem in a very complex way instead. And they skip to look at this problem can be very simple. It can be very, very simple to solve it. So the Occam's razor is encouraging us that many a times we need to focus on the simplest solution. No matter how big the problem is, sometimes you need to ask yourself, what is the easiest way I can solve this problem? What is the most easiest solution to this problem? Sometimes because of pressure, many people skip the easy way of doing things and they're looking for very hard and complex ways. Many of us have gone through that now. Have you ever been in school and you're looking for your pen and the pen is in your hand? Who has ever gone through that in school? Or you're looking for something, your phone, and it's in your hand. Or something, but you're looking everywhere else, but it is in your hand. Anybody gone through that? Yes. Because your mind at that time, you're only looking at difficult places here and there. Meanwhile, it is in your hand. Why not just calm down? If you know the Occam's razor, like, wait, Joybert, use the Occam's razor. Okay, look around you. Look in your pocket, look in your wallet, look somewhere. You just come back to the basics, and sometimes you always get it. You understand? So the Occam's razor principle talks about the simplest solution is almost always the best. Explain things with the fewest moving parts. Now, this is especially when you're trying to solve a problem and you need to communicate to another person or to a board or to a management team. You see, many a times when I'm talking to clients and mentees, or I give assignments, or we're working on something, I always ask them, explain this to me in 3 sentences. Forget about the grammar going up and down. Explain it to me in 3 sentences in basic English. Explain it to me as if you are talking to a 5-year-old or to a 90-year-old woman in the most basic way that they can understand. So your focus is clarity. With the Occam's razor model, your focus is clarity. And this model recommends that if you have 2 equally likely solutions to a problem, choose the simplest. An administrator will say, choose the simplest, which is cost effective. If you have 2 solutions and you're contemplating, which one should you pick? Choose the one that's very easy and that will take you less money to implement, and go ahead with it. Especially for startup entrepreneurs, this is very important for you. So the Occam's razor could be what many people need in order to produce solutions to some complex problems. Okay, let us proceed to number 5. It's called second order thinking. Second order thinking. The process of considering the intended and unintended implications of your decisions. This is one of my favorite ways of making decisions, of taking decisions, and I use this a lot with many of my clients. Now, this is what I always do with this particular one. When I want to make a decision, I draw a T-table. On the left of the table, on the chart, I write intended implications of my decisions. On the right, I write unintended, the things I don't want to happen, right? Yes. And when you do that, you begin to look at it. It can help you make a lot of decisions. Let us say that you want to get married, for example, whether a lady or a gentleman get married, and you want to make a decision whether you want to accept the boy or ask the girl to marry you or not. You know, right? Okay, what are the things that you want to see happen in this marriage? The intended implications of your decision. Okay, a happy home, a supportive spouse, a spouse that is going has a vision, purpose, all of that. Then on the unintended, you begin to write, okay, you don't want divorce, you don't want gender-based, you don't want non-gender-based violence, violence, you don't want disrespect, you don't want what else? You write the things you don't want. Then you begin to cross-check. You now begin to cross-check, okay, how can intended stuff help you overcome unintended? What can you do to eliminate unintended? You see, that's how you now make a better decision. Sometimes you proceed with the decision knowing the unintended, but you have a solution for it because you have thought about it. Many people have entered into a case, into an issue, before discovering unintended implications. Oh, I know. Oh, I did not know. Oh, I wish I knew. If many people use second order thinking, I wish I knew will be reduced in many decision making. You see? So this is the ability to think through problems to the second, the third, and the fourth order. That's the meaning. Because when you begin to do that, you ponder upon it. You now see why there are some decisions you cannot take immediate actions. Maybe as I'm talking or somebody listening to this right now, there's a decision you've been planning to make. Go and try and use second order thinking. You'll come and testify. Even if you're already sure of the decision, second order thinking method will help increase clarity. And sometimes you can take even a day or two just to write out your intended implications. and just to write out your unintended implication. It can take you, yeah, it can take a day or two, even 1 week, because you want to gather all the data. And the good thing about this, when you start writing, you start seeing that you need more data about the particular situation before you can finally make the decision. And when you're making the decision, you now actually know exactly the implications and what you're willing to do, especially when it comes to unintended implications. Are you getting some value? Leave me a message in the chat box. Which one is your best method so far? We have seen 5. This excludes those who are joining late. Leave me a message in the chat box. Which one is your best so far? Or which one are you planning to use? Everybody has a problem here. No human being has no problem. Which one do you want to use? Leave me a comment. 8. Okay, thought experiment. Yes, people are talking about thought experiments. Okay. Circle of competence. Then you want to build a circle of competence. Okay. Second order thinking. Thought experiments. As I said earlier on, all of these are definitely, you're going to use them in different circumstances. In different circumstances. So you need to master all of this, you need to know all of these so that you can have them in your DNA. And this is where many of you need to use the mere exposure effect. When as you're taking down notes, when you go back home or later on, you begin to just pick and look at them so that you can get yourself acquainted with all of these tools. You need to know them in your head. You need to know some of these tools and how they work in your head, because you never know when you will need them. Number 6 is called compounding. The compounding model. Regularly investing small amounts of money, time, energy pays off massively in the long term. It doesn't just apply to money. The same principle can be applied to habits, relationships, ideas, and expertise. Don't overlook a small investment of time and money. Now, the compounding effect works a lot for a problem that maybe has been there for a while, and you are trying to look for a long-term solution. For example, let us assume that, like me, for example, I knew that I was from a poor background, right? I knew that I was I could not go to school straight like every other average young person. And like me, there are many young Africans who are from poor families, from the lower level of the class in the society and all of that. So I had to create a plan. When I stumbled on this principle before I realized it, I had to create a long-term plan on how I'm going to push myself out of poverty. Let me tell you guys, my battle against poverty started officially in 2013. When I made up my mind that I'm going to live and not be in poverty. Started in 2010, and I had a very clear plan regarding education. The first part. Now, there are many times that I used to save money and take all the money and go pay my fees, because the first part of my plan stated that I will save money and educate myself. So all my money, I think it was only when I reached my doctorate degree level that at least I was having some money that I could pay fees and still have change in my bank account, right? But before that, I remember, I think I paid my MBA and all the money, and I was not worried about it because it was written in my plan. So it was a compound effect, including even certification courses. You see, including whatever. So there was a whole plan of taking it one step at a time. Okay, get your first degree, get certifications, get MBA, get your doctorate degree, get this and get that and get that and get that. It was not about doing it big. No, it was about taking it one step at a time, one small action at a time. And that plan is not done because I am not yet wealthy. Just that the plan has stepped now to focus on setting up institutions now. Because if I really want to create wealth and wealth for other people, I need to create institutions. So that is where the plan is right now, in creating institutions. And the plan involved me traveling across other countries and going to other nations so I can see how they make wealth and all of that. Or I can see how I can make wealth from there and push it back into what I'm trying to build. All of those things, they are all strategically planned. That's the best way I can explain the compounding model of solving a problem. It works very well for a long-term problem. You have identified, maybe yours could be battle against poverty. It could be battle against low rate of education. It could be battle against lifting your family out of poverty. It could be battle against whatever, maybe building your own company. Yes, it could be that. You can use a compounding effect to build your company. And it could take you 10 to 15 to 20 years to make this happen. But the secret is, are you consistently, regularly investing small amounts? It could be money, it could be time, it could be energy, it could be studying, it could be taking courses, it could be getting certifications, it could be going for your master's, MBA, doctorate degree, whatever that you can do, but you have a very clear plan of compounding relevant action. But there must be a particular problem that you want to solve. And you have established that, okay, for you to solve this problem, this is the best way you can solve this problem. Then you can embark on that with small actions on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and in 10 years, 5 years, 6 years, all of that you get to solve. And for you to be comfortable with this model, you must be somebody who understands the power of process, the power of going through a process to achieve something sustainable. Even big companies use this today. They take time to introduce a new unit in the business. They take it one step at a time until they get it right. And I believe that many Africans need to use the compounding model of solving complex problems, long-lasting complex problems. And this kind of thing can only happen when you have done a proper analysis and self-awareness. You know where you are. You know who you are. You know your present state. But you now create a projection, a future state. And what would bridge the gap between your present stage and your future stage are the compounding small investments and actions that you will be taking. Okay, so that's number 6. Let's go to number 7. Number 7 is also a very popular problem-solving method known as essential decision metrics. Eisenhower is a former U.S. president. I think he used this during the war to fight a battle or something. Yeah. Separate your task into important and urgent columns. Some things are important and not urgent. Others are urgent but not important. Some are not important but urgent, and others are neither important nor urgent. So you create a box. Oh, that box is right. You create a box where, hold on, I want to show you how this box looks like. I thought I added it here. Okay, here we go. Wow. All right, just a moment. Yeah. I'm seeing some funny stuff here. All right, got it. I want to show it to those who have never seen it so they can use it. So you can draw this. So this is how the box looks like. Example of Eisenhower matrix: urgent, important, important, not urgent, right? Not important, urgent, not important, not urgent. You see? So this one is much better that you see how they've done it. The one that is under important and urgent, you need to do it. The one that is under not important, not urgent, you can schedule it. The one that is not important and urgent, you can delegate. The one that is not urgent, not important, you can delete, right? So this how it looks like. So you can break down. You want to solve a problem. You want to do whatever you want to do. You can start to break it down. Okay, based on these things, based on this particular problem, which one is very important and very urgent? You begin to write it down. Begin to write which one is not important but not urgent. Which one is urgent but not important? Which one is important but not urgent? Which one is not important and not urgent? Many people have failed in life or failed at achieving certain goals because they are good at doing things that are not important and not urgent, or things that are not important, but they make it to look urgent. They claim to make it look so urgent. That is why I always say that, your emergency is not my emergency. Okay? Because, yes, I need to ascertain that it's also urgent. It's my job to ascertain that. You don't need to force it on me. You get a point? So, and that's where empathy comes in. Just saying. Now, so this is what the matrix talks about. So next time that maybe like sometimes people get to use this when they want to try to break down their year or their month. Okay, maybe they have established all of their goals. They start breaking it. Okay, which one is very important and very urgent? That is the one I need to do. Even in your office, which task is important this morning, and which one is important and urgent this morning? That is the ones, those are the tasks that you have to do. Which one is not important but urgent? You begin to look at, okay, it seems like it's urgent, but it's not very important, so you can wait, or you can even delegate it. You see? Good, because sometimes you can just carry it in your head and you feel so emotional. See, you have a lot of things to do. Meanwhile, forget you don't have a lot of things to do. That's why I love to write down my goals. I love to break down what I have to do for the day, so that I avoid that feeling of you have so much to do today, Joybert, so much to do. At the end, you are so overwhelmed, and your mind can even get so tired because you feel as if the whole world, all the work in the office is on your head. But if you break it down, it can enable you to make better decisions or create better solutions to that complex problem. Number 8, the Pareto effect. Yes, the Pareto effect. Many people get to use this. Many executives get to use this. This rule suggests that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. 80% of your output is usually created by 20% of your input. Invest your time wisely. Yes, so sometimes there are some problems around you, or problems in the office, or in your career, or in your life. All you need to do is to ascertain, what is that most important thing that I can do that will give me 80% of the result? And this is where productivity comes in. So you avoid wasting a lot of time doing things that will not help you. There's a problem on ground, yes. Now, looking at this problem, what is it in this problem that is the most critical action that I can take in the most effective way that can produce the highest result or the best result? That is a Pareto effect. So that you're focused on making sure, how can you invest time and resources wisely? And this Pareto effect is more critical when you have limited resources and limited time. Yes, when you don't have enough money, you don't have enough employees, you don't have enough tools, enough equipment, you will need to learn how to put to effect the Pareto effect, the Pareto principle. Okay, this is the problem. We have this problem, but we don't have enough money, enough human resources, enough tools and equipment. Okay, that is the fact. But now, what can we do with what we have in a very effective and wise way that can give us the best result so far, if not 80% of the results? You sit down and you do a proper analysis. This is a good method to use, especially when you have limited resources, and if you react to solve that problem and waste those resources, you will not have other resources to try to resolve that problem. So one thing about the Pareto effect is that it prevents you from reacting. It enables you to be proactive. It enables you to properly calculate your actions before you take the steps. If you look at especially many startup entrepreneurs, if you start talking to them, you see that there are many times in their businesses or in their daily operations that they have reactively taken actions when a problem came, and they wasted the limited resources and time without getting the best result. But if they tarried a bit to do proper calculations and begin to ask, okay, this is the problem. Now, what concrete actions can I take with what we have to get this particular result that we are looking for? If we cannot get all of the results, how can we get 80% of the results? And this Pareto effect also go to when you want to buy stuff for your business or for whatever reason. You can do a proper analysis. Okay, with this limited amount of money, which one equipment can we buy that would change? Which one equipment can we buy that will change our operations and give us better results? Don't just go excitedly and buy. I'm sure that maybe in school or even still now, you have very small amount of money and you just go and excitedly buy something and you come and realize that you bought the wrong thing. Or you did not buy what you actually need. I remember when in high school, the little amount that we had at that time in high school was very small amount, and we are really hungry. So I will never forget that day because we excitedly now and we went and bought burning corn. Meanwhile, that was all the money that we had. Instead of when we came back home, we were like, wait, if we bought Gary with this money, we would have ate it maybe today and the next tomorrow. But now we went and bought corn. Now we ate the corn before reaching the house. What are you going to eat? Nothing. Do you have money? No. But if we use the Pareto effect, that's okay, what can we buy with this money that can enable us to eat maybe for 2 days while expecting money or pocket allowance or while trying to look for money? We would have bought the Gary or would have bought rice, you see, and cook it and eat it for 2 days while gaining more time to actually get the money we're looking for. But we excitedly now bought the corn and then ate the corn in a few minutes, stayed hungry, remained hungry actually. The benefit of the Pareto principle. Number 9, regret minimization framework. regret minimization framework. Looking back on life, you want to minimize the number of regrets you have. So projecting yourself into your future self and looking back on your current actions can help you make better choices that can benefit you when you are older. This is a very powerful framework to solve problems or to prevent future problems. Where you can look at your life. You can project your life in the future and say, what are the regrets that I would like to avoid in future? Maybe you would like to avoid the regret of getting old while you are poor. You want to avoid the regret of getting old when you don't have a good relationship with your kids, or getting old and you are alone, no spouse, no children, no family member to be there because you had a bad character, or getting old and having cancer because you are smoking cigarettes, right? You just project yourself into the future, then you start taking actions to avoid those regrets or to minimize the regrets. That is how to use the framework of regret minimization. This also goes for business actions. You want to enter a partnership. What do you need to consider to minimize regret in future? Okay, sign a legal partnership. Take it to court and legalize it so that tomorrow if something goes wrong, you have a legal standing which you can use to gain back your money that you invested in that particular partnership or whatever. Regret minimization framework. Before you take any action, you project yourself into your future self while looking at your current actions. This will now help you make better choices that can benefit you when you are old. And it minimizes a lot of problems. So now look at your career, look at your business, look at your personal life. Where do you need to put into effect the regret minimization framework? It could be sleep. There are some people, the way they're sleeping right now, very soon they'll clock 35 and 40 years. They don't command any level of authority and expert in their field. Because at your old age, you should be resting and not overworking yourself, because you have already done the work at your young age. You see, there are many people that retire because they start thinking of retirement. No savings, no house, no investment anywhere, no land, nothing. They did not put into effect the regret minimization framework. If you're a serious young person, one of the things that you need to do as you clock 30 years is to have a plan to make sure that you retire into wealth. If you are listening to me and you have entered 30, for those who are still to enter 30, start thinking of it. Whether you're a man or a woman, if you're a woman and you're married and your husband is not here, go and ask him this question. Does he have a retirement into wealth plan for you and him? If not, put some sense into his head so that you guys can talk about it. I prefer you have the plan and be working towards it before things get difficult. But as long as you are breathing and there's life, there is hope. Your job is to keep on advancing. Because it is important. It's part of your regret minimization framework. Because when you clock 30, the truth is that you have just maximum 20 years of really serious hard work. Because at 50, your age and your bones will start failing you. You need to start to be resting or graduating into rest. Right? So that is the concept of regret minimization framework. even in your daily business, in your daily career, in your office, any action you want to take, sometimes just quickly project into the future, looking at your current actions and see if you are making better choices that will benefit you tomorrow, that will benefit you when you are older. Like I was sharing one time, one of the things that enabled me to conquer sleep, because where I am right now, anytime I want to wake up, I wake up. If I'm reminded you're waking up at 3, 3, 2, 2, 4, 4, I am waking up. It's already a habit already. And one of the things I did several years ago to conquer that, I used to ask myself, the things you want to do, if you continue sleeping, will you do those things? That was me putting into effect the regret minimization framework without even knowing until the day I read about it. There are many of you here that, and this regret minimization framework can enhance your self-discipline. Procrastination will destroy your life tomorrow. So you need to put into effect regret minimization framework as far as procrastination is concerned, so that you stop procrastinating. If you procrastinate, you may retire into poverty. You don't know. Because all the wealth that you will create tomorrow, 10, 15, 20 years from now, part of your actions today, as you are listening to me right now, this is part of you creating wealth, because wealth starts from the soul. Wealth starts from the soul. Mentees understand what I'm talking about. Wealth starts from the soul. Even the Bible says, may you prosper as your soul prospers. Until you get it right on your soul, you are not going to prosper in your pocket. Get your intellect right. Get your will right. Get your emotions right. Because these are the three things that forms a human soul. Then you can guarantee the day you're able to conquer emotions, build intellect, and have a strong will, I can almost guarantee you can never be broke in life. You can never be broke in life. Okay. Number 10, inversion. Inversion, smart tool to solve problems or life problems in general. Thinking forward and backwards, simple as that. Occasionally drive your brain in reverse to consider the opposite side of things. How could you sabotage your health? How could you sabotage productivity? How could you sabotage your relationship? How could you sabotage your finances? Inversion allows you to step outside your normal patterns of thought and helps you to avoid making mistakes and bad choices. So that's the meaning of inversion. So you think forward and backward. So you look at the advantages and the disadvantages. How could you already know that good health is important, but now how can you sabotage your good health? Number one, not eating right. Number two, maybe smoking cigarettes. Number three, do all of that. Now that's inversion thinking. You now know those things that if you do, they can sabotage your health. What are you going to do? Will you continue doing it? That's your problem. Same for productivity. How can you sabotage your productivity? Okay, you sleep too much, you procrastinate a lot, too much social media, too much hangout with friends, too much laziness, too much complaining, too much murmuring. All of these things will sabotage your productivity. Now that you know them, what will you do with it? You need to stop it, because these things will only create more problems for you. So inversion method helps you to know the things that if you're doing, they will cause you more problems, so you can stop doing it. So you can stop doing it. How can you sabotage all of these things? So you step outside your normal patterns of thought and just examine generally, these actions I am taking, how are these actions sabotaging my health, productivity, relationship, finances, career, or business? Now that you know how the actions are sabotaging your important areas of your life, you need to take steps and actions to stop it. Like, have you ever been in a place where you're advising somebody about something you know that is destroying them, but they are not stopping it? Yes, inversion method is always the best. I've coached people like that, where they're advising them, oh, stop doing this, stop doing this. Sometimes you ask them, I was coaching one person, I asked her, okay, write down 3 of your most important things. What are the 3 things in your life that can make you very happy if you achieve them? What are the 3 things in your life right now that if you achieve them, you'll be the happiest man on earth? She wrote down, you know, getting my finances right, or being successfully rich, having a good career, and having a good relationship that can lead to marriage. I said, okay, good. These are the things that if they happen to you right now, you'll be the happiest girl on earth. She said yes. Okay. Next exercise. I want you to pick one and then write down the daily things you are doing in your life that are sabotaging these things that are important to you. Begin to write it down. Write down those things that you know. Write down the lifestyles that you know that you're practicing that are instead stopping you from entering your happiness. She started writing down. She started writing down. As she was writing and going, that's why I saw tears drop, tap, tap, tap. I said, Sava. All right, it has entered the spirit now. It has entered the soul. She gets it, she gets it, she gets it. I put her in a position where she could see that she is responsible for destroying her own life. You are sabotaging your own self. It's time for you to take responsibility. Same for career and business. What are you doing right now that is sabotaging your career? What are you doing right now that is sabotaging your business? Some of you need to go back and practice the inversion method. You already know the advantages of what you should be doing. Sit down and properly begin to look, okay, what are the negative things? How are my actions negatively affecting these important areas of my life? Okay, good. If you are still following, leave me a comment you're following. Are you being challenged? Leave me a comment. Who feels very challenged? Who feels more educated to solve better problems from now henceforth? Good. All right, number 11 is think in gray. Yes, think one of my favorite too. Think in gray. Don't see the world in black and white. Don't see the world in black and white. See the gray in between. Now, let me tell you how I think in gray in this particular area. You know, there are many people like in the business setting, many people in the business setting think in terms of profit and loss, in terms of market dynamics and data. The gray that I have for me, when people are thinking that, okay, the markets are bad, my own gray is gone. My faith. Okay, yes, the market are bad. I know inflation is there, right? I know. Things are difficult. Yes, I know. You are seeing in terms of black and white. Me, my gray is gone. I don't see things in black and white, good or bad. I don't see things like this is like maybe I'm in difficulty right now. I don't see that things are bad. No. God is in the picture. God is my own gray. I don't see that either I'm bad. No, I don't see that. There's always a gray something. Many people have quickly made bad decisions because when something went wrong, all they think is in black and white. Okay, it don't spoil that. So it has gone bad totally. No repairs. No. Sometimes you need to learn how to think in gray. Don't see the world in black and white. Try to see some possibilities. Try to see how something can be salvaged. Make life decisions carefully. It is reasonable to buy time to think, gather information, go beyond your immediate thoughts. This is one thing that makes people to see things in black and white. They use their immediate thought and just conclude. No. The immediate thoughts are good, yes, but now go beyond the immediate thoughts. Go beyond the good, the bad, the true, the false, the objective, the intuitive. Go beyond all of that and seek more information. Don't just believe that it's totally bad. This one makes many people to give up. They're trying to build a business and it's struggling or it fails. The only option is give up. Or they write an exams and they fail once. The only option is give up. They only see it in terms of pass and fail. They are not seen in terms of I can repeat and pass tomorrow. They have removed that gray part of it. You see? Or it's like, I was talking to somebody who lost a very heavy customer and he was just feeling like giving up. He was just thinking in terms of getting a high customer and then losing it, black and white. But I'm like, why are you not seeing the possibility of you getting a customer in the evening? Why are you not seeing the possibility of you getting a customer tomorrow? Why not seeing a possibility of you improving on your marketing so you can get a better customer the next tomorrow? But the guy just, sometimes, well, I close the office and leave the office. Why don't you believe that a customer can come on the next 2 hours and buy from you, maybe better than that customer? The gray part, many people don't think in gray. It's always good or worst, simple. No, it's not good. It's not good in business. It's not good in career. And sometimes we conclude that based on immediate thoughts. No, go beyond immediate thoughts. Buy time to think. Gather information. You will see some, some gray areas beyond the black and the white. So think in gray as a professional. It's very important for your rising. All right. First principles thinking. First principles thinking. The practice of actively questioning every assumption you think you know about something and then creating new knowledge and solutions from scratch, almost starting with a blank page. Oh, yes. Now, this principle is very important, especially if it's something that you are not familiar with, especially if it's a problem you're facing for the first time. You can use the first principles thinking. You question every assumption you think you know about that particular problem. Then you create new knowledge. You create new solutions from the scratch. Sometimes you can do further research, see what other people have been saying about something similar. And in the process, you create a new solution from scratch. You don't copy and paste, no. Even if somebody has solved a similar problem, you need to make sure that you are creating the new knowledge and solution with a contextualized approach. Don't just copy what somebody did somewhere and you paste, no. Question the assumption. Question the research that you have seen. And then use the assumptions that you have questioned and the data and information and create the new solution from scratch. Sometimes you may be building from scratch and it looks similar with others, with what people have done somewhere else with something similar. It's okay, but make sure you create from scratch, from that blank slate until you get a complete solution. Like, for example, writing a business plan. You may see templates on the internet, but there are some ideas that it is better you create them from ground up, especially if it's an idea you have never done before, because you need a lot of data to know more about that idea. You need to do your own research to know more about the market. So you cannot use a template or an already existing business plan to edit. It's not proper. You need to practice first principles thinking, because it is your first time and you need to go through the process and the experience. Build from scratch. Gather the data. Question your general assumption, and then build from the scratch, and you're good to go. Number 13, sunk cost fallacy. Very good for entrepreneurs. Sunk cost fallacy. Invested resources, time, money, and effort that you cannot recover. People commit the sunk cost fallacy when they continue a behavior or endeavor as a result of previously invested resources. There are people that consistently invest money in a bad project because of the money they have invested before. It's better you make a U-turn and lose the money you invested already, learn from the mistakes and create something different. It's so bad for you to keep on investing. You know that it's wrong, it's not going, it's a bad project, but you're just feeling guilty that, but I've already invested so much in this project. But should you continue wasting more time, money, and effort in what is already bad? It's like somebody is like a lady in a bad relationship where they're beating you every day, because you have been there for 6 years. You hoping that the guy will change and marry you, or he will change in marriage. And then they go and murder you in that place, cut your head. You get the concept? That's called the sunk cost fallacy. So you need to be careful. What is that? I've invested too much time into it and it's wrong. It's a bad project. It's not going to work now, or it's totally bad at all. But because of what you've invested already, you are still putting more money into it, thinking that it's going to change. Meanwhile, it will not change. It is already bad. It's already a bad business or a bad project. All you need to do is to make a U-turn, make a different project, or take back the project to the lab or to wherever you want to take it, re-strategize it, innovate it, introduce new concepts, all of that, let it fit the market before you continue investing in the project. But don't let the sunk cost fallacy steal your time, money, and effort from you. Okay? It's a behavior. It's a habit, because you are feeling guilty. I've invested 2 million. I will just leave it like that. Yeah, so you may just have to leave it like that and go pick up something different that will work. So you stop wasting time, money, and effort on something that would not work because of emotions and guilt. In business, you deal with data, logic, and reasoning. Is there somebody who is doing sunk cost fallacy right now? Confess in the chat box. Let me see you. Who is doing sunk cost fallacy right now? Yeah, there's something you're still putting money in it like that, and you know that you have been having the instinct that this thing will not work in the end, but you're still feeling guilty with all this time, with all this money and effort. You're still feeling guilty of it. You need to go and repent, escape from that sunk cost fallacy, because it's not going to help you in any way. Okay, good. Number 14, triangulation. Triangulation is a good method to have in your mind when it comes to solving problems in the moment, and of course in future. The gathering and confirming information from more than one source before making a decision. It gives you a better perspective and helps you eliminate bias by not relying on one source. Yes, there are some problems that never solve them by relying on one source. There are some problems in business that you should never solve them without consulting a business expert, a lawyer, an accountant. These three people. You need triangulation with these three people. Never, I've seen people make blunder in businesses because they relied on one unreliable, incomplete information source and made a decision, and then they crashed. There are some decisions that maybe like marriage. You want to make a decision, maybe you need to talk to a pastor, talk to a mentor, talk to another elderly person you respect, just to get perspective before you make the final decision. If you want to leave your job, you may need to talk. Don't depend on your one source of information, which is your own, and then make that decision. You need to use triangulation. Business, same as a business problem. Maybe as a boss, you need to talk with some of your employees, call them aside and get their perspective or get what they're saying before you can make the decision. So triangulation is about making sure that before you make a decision, gather and confirm, gather the information and confirm it from more than one source before making the decision. I always encourage at least 3 people, not just 3 any kind of people, but 3 people that are rooted, have the relevant knowledge and information about that situation. Don't go and call your 3 friends that are so yayashous in thinking and you're questioning them. Get people that are deeply rooted. They have deep knowledge about that field, about that issue. Talk to them. Sometimes you need to pay a fee, pay it, and triangulate, then make a better decision. You may hardly crash. For Christians, part of your triangulation is in the place of prayers. Let the Holy Ghost talk to you. Confirm with God first before you make that move. Very critical. Very critical. All right, number 15. Probabilistic thinking. Probabilistic thinking. Probability. Those who were running away from math or business math in school will be like, probability again. Yes, so it's looking for you now in real life. Probability is looking for you now in real life. The ability to predict the possibility that an event may or may not occur. Yes. We human beings have been given that ability to think, ability to guesswork, ability to tap into our instincts. These things are assets and they have their relevance. You understand? So you can use them and predict. You can also use your foresight. You can also use your access to history and data and predict the possibility that an event may or may not occur. By learning how to differentiate possibility and probability, you get to tackle problems by measuring the stakes of each choice with its probability. What is the probability that rain will fall? Okay, if we are in summer, we are in August, we're in September, okay, that alone increases the probability because we are in the rainy season. Let's say in Africa, Cameroon, right? So you start picking all of these data and you can use them now to establish probability and the possibility that it may happen. You get a point? So you may need to practice a lot of probabilistic thinking, and then sometimes you can do this thinking and then you use another thinking Maybe the previous one, 14, triangulation. Yes. Sometimes you can get to the stage of triangulation after you have done probabilistic thinking. Then you are getting to the place of triangulation just to confirm or get deeper understanding of what is happening. Now, the good news about all of these 15 tools is you can use more than one, even more than two in a situation just to make sure that you don't mess up your life. So all of these 15 are very critical if you are really going to succeed. Many people are living life on reactions. Many people are living life on guesswork. Many people are living life and making decisions on assumptions. People like that don't end up being sustainable. Do you want to be sustainable? You need to take your problem-solving abilities and decision-making capabilities deeper than just assumptions and guesswork. And that is why you can use any of these 15 tools to actually grow in that dimension. But there is one thing I can tell you, the greatest of the greatest, the most successful people in career and business, they are not shallow thinkers. You need to become a deep thinker. And deep thinkers use certain ways of thinking, approaches, and methods and tools that we have shared here to actually make proper decisions and solve problems. And that's why sometimes you feel as if they are deeply rooted, as if they always know what to do and do the right thing. It's because they don't think up, up, up. They are not shallow in their thinking. They are very deep in how they think. All right, that is it for the session. Any questions, we can talk about it.